What's up, Facebook Live, people's beautiful community? So normally I try to do these at noon. That didn't happen. So I am doing it now, tonight. So we'll see who jumps on. But other than that, I got a couple questions from people, and I titled this one, How to Be Open to Trusting Again after, obviously, after pain and all of that stuff. So that's going to be our primary question. What's up? AJ, oh my God. I miss you. I haven't seen you in forever. We need to seriously do a catch up. It's 2017. I don't know when I've talked to you last. So let's make that happen. What's up, Erica, girl? How are you? Love you, girl. Oh, I miss you guys both. You guys are so badass. Everybody who's watching right now, AJ is one of the best celebrity psychics and such a dear friend of mine. Look him up. I shouldn't say psychic. You're more of a medium, but you're amazing either way. Like, love you. I remember having conversations about aliens on my back porch with you. That was so awesome. So we're going to play Tap In. And if you guys haven't watched any of the videos before, this is a fun game I started in when I was in Sedona, and I basically just kind of use it to get, opening up a guide or information from the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. And how I do that is I either get questions from you, and I scribble them on a piece of paper, or sometimes I use my own too. There was one I used my own, and this is kind of how I tap in a little bit more to my intuition and just see what the universe, or like I said, God, or whatever you want to call it, your intuition, your spirit guides has to offer. Sometimes I use tarot decks. Sometimes, it can be messages come from all over. They can be on the radio, whatever it is, right? But this is a fun little game that I like to do, so I'm sharing it with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and I'll be watching the comments on there. And, oh, it's Jennifer instead of eight. You're so funny. Jennifer, you're such a badass. Love you, girl. Jennifer is AJ's wife, who is an amazing, beautiful, just goddess. What's up, girl? Yes, okay, we all have to get together. But anyways, like I was saying, if you have any questions and you want me to use my books to kind of see what the answer is for you, I play with a lot of different ones. I'll do a quick rundown. Personal Power and Awareness is one of my very first. I think I was like 19, and this book fell off the shelf when I was in Australia looking for awareness and heightened senses and just kind of first tapping into all that stuff. So that's like such a cherished book of mine. I brought in Vibrational Medicine. That brings in always some good answers. Book of Dreams. Love books of answers because that's also what we're doing here. Secrets to the Millionaire Mind. Staying Healthy. Bring in a little bit of body. Field Quest for the Secrets of the Universe. So I mix kind of metaphysical and kind of, grounded physical and grounded money and all that stuff just to get an array. I think there's many different variables and very many different sources of where these answers can be. And I'm excited because I'm borrowing my roommate's little camera handheld stand thing. So I upgraded. Yay. I don't have to hold it with my hand. Now I got two hands. No hands, Mom. Okay, so let's see. Sarah, when I come back to Los Angeles, you, me, Cody need to do something. Go out. Yeah, okay. Should we ask the books if that needs to happen? You guys are awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first question that I think is really, can be really helpful for people too. And love to connect with AJ and wife. Awesome. Awesome, girl. Okay, use this whole thing as like a networking. I love it. Okay, cool. So how to be open to, I feel like a little kid now. How to be open to trusting after Yeah, that's not comfortable. How to be open to trusting after pain, and that can be relationship pain, that can be business pain, that can be whatever. What up, Kiko, brother, my love you. You're fucking awesome. Such a badass brother. He's going to be on my podcast, probably the next episode. I think we're scheduling. He's doing amazing work with like empowering women, and just, you're such a badass brother of mine. I love you. Okay, so let's get to it. I keep getting distracted with questions, but I'm going to keep watching in case anybody else has any other questions. So, how to be open to trusting again after pain, suffering, whatever. And I'm going to use my intuition. I'm going to clear the space and bring in all of my guides and support team. And they're telling me to go to Trusty Doreen Virtue, Angels 101. So, and you guys can do this at home too, you know, but I love that you're doing it here with me. How to be open to trusting again. And I just kind of hold the question in my mind just really loosely and just ask for the guidance to come through my body, using my body as a channel and a conduit. And I just open it wherever, and that one, but then that one popped open. So we're going to do both. So the answer to how to trust again. Dory's story is fascinating in that 12 people reported seeing a person riding with her, someone who Doris concluded must have been her protective angel. So, okay, let's just keep reading and then we'll see what happens. Received many stories from people who report that their cars have been defied gravitational, whose cars have defied gravitational laws. Every once in a while, I might get slightly dyslexic and skip over words. So bear with me. I'm not perfect at reading. Let's see. Have defied gravitational laws in inexplicable ways. After hearing so many of these stories, I believe that the only explanation is that angels are able to move cars out of harm's way. So that tells me, so in regard to the trust, you have angels all around you anyway. That's funny. Or it's just the fact that I brought angels into before I answered that question. That could be really awesome as well. Hence, then, this other section. But I think we always do have angels or protectors or guides or whatever you want to call them. Like, nobody's too good for that metaphysical stuff. You know what I mean? Noticing and recognizing that you have guides all around you, especially when we're dealing with trust and how to be open to trusting again. So I was asking how to be open to trusting. I was asking how to be open to trusting after pain, and I was relating it more towards relationships. And yet at the same time, the thing that's coming up right now is how many of us actually trust that angels exist? So if we're, Happy New Year, girl. How many of us actually trust in the fact that we have guides, in the fact that we have support systems? So how do we be open to trust? Maybe it's just recognizing that they're all around. So yeah, like I said, I was relating it more to relationships, but I think that can go both ways at the same time. And maybe that's why that page opened up. If you guys have it, it's page 43. The second page that opened up, Catherine had a misunderstanding with a friend, and she was considering ending the relationship. Okay, so here's where the answers get really, like, good. Hi, love your vibe here. Cool, thank you. In the chat, I didn't see what that said. Sorry to life. The universe and God is within us and everything else in existence. Yeah. Oh, I love you, Jennifer. You're so awesome. Yes, it is. Absolutely. And we're always connected to it. Like people ask me sometimes like how I view God, so to speak, and I don't see it as a masculine or a feminine. I see it as an energy and more of a it's an everything energy, right? I see it in kind of geometric coding and structure, and it's a very orchestrated, mathematical, kind of ever growing and ever building equation. That's just me. But that collective energy almost like has little threads. This is just what resonates for me. It has like little threads, and when each one of our souls want to come into spirit, into physical form, they come down the thread and then turn into, hence our physical being and our physical form. And so that's how I see always being in that connection to that higher and greater consciousness or energy or God or whatever it is that you call it for you. And that's how, like I'll sometimes even say, like, we're God. And I don't mean that egotistically. I don't mean that like, you know, oh, we are gods, and kind of how like the like Aphrodite and like all of that, like that to me is almost archetypal and a little kind of egoic, you know, but I mean like we are God as in we are all, if God's energy is vibrating super, super fast in an infinite open sense, then when we come down here, we're more dense, and so therefore we vibrate a little slower. But it doesn't mean that we're not still that essence of God or energy or whatever. It just means that we're vibrating at a different frequency because we're at a more dense zone. So that's kind of how I see that we're all gods. And so yeah, we're all God. Excuse me, that's a clarification. So that was a slight tangent, but super important. So anyways, back to trust. Catherine, and what is it? So how to be open to trusting after past pain or relationships or something like that. This is really super awesome. I love how this always happens. It's always congruent. So Catherine had a misunderstanding. Super quick, this is on page 31 of Doreen Virtue's Angels 101, if you have the book. Catherine had a misunderstanding with a friend, and she was considering ending the relationship. So she asked for guidance from her angels. Not making that up. I don't know. Can you see that? Did I do that right? Okay. As Catherine sat in her backyard crying about the situation, a feather floated right past her. She took this as a sign that the angels were working on her relationship and for her to take no action at the present moment. I love it when that happens. I often see that too. Like I think of that whenever I see, like, I'll walk past and there's like a tiny little white feather and I'm like, oh, an angel is there. Just little things to make life more fun. And noticing and just being present and being conscious of all that stuff. That's what I think is really cool. And that's part of your intuition. That's listening to your intuition. You're like, oh, what if that is an angel? Like, that's all intuition is. It's just noticing where the messages are and that they come from all over. And are you listening? And do you have a creative sense to just be open enough to thinking that that would be a really fun possibility if that was the case? So that afternoon, as Catherine walked to her children's school, she asked her angels for a sign that her relationship would heal. She looked down and saw a feather, and then another. And by the time she arrived at her destination, Catherine had collected 35 feathers, which she took for a very positive sign. Sure enough, Catherine and her friend resolved their misunderstanding, and they now remain very close to each other. That's kind of badass. I love stories like that. So to me, what that says in regard to trusting, again, if this is the intuition game and how to learn how to just be more open to your intuition, ask. Just like we're doing with the books. Ask. Whatever the specific ... is. How do I ... or how is this going to get resolved? Or help me resolve this. Like the universe is always working in your favor. I feel like it's always there to support you. You know? Who was I watching? I was watching Gabrielle Bernstein, you know, and I love that she says that. It's like the universe always has your back. And if we're technically the universe or hence God, then technically we do have our own backs. Ideally, on the spiritual side that knows, you know, or outside of our own ego that gets in our own way, right? Oh, that's an angry face. I don't know what that was. David, could you, you would be great at reading nursery rhymes. Thanks. I had that thought. I wanted to read to a bunch of kids with autism and read them. To be honest, I wanted to bring this book and read this book to a bunch of kids with autism, ET 101. I think that would be so badass. I think they would get it on just the whole other level. I love it. I love them. They're just pure love. So trust, intuition, ask, just ask. Ask a book, ask a tarot card, ask and then listen to the messages that are on the radio. Ask and see if you find a feather. Or, sometimes I always watch when like birds go by, and if it's more than one, if it's like 3 or something like that, those are little messages. I follow the 333. Those, it doesn't matter. It could be gas prices. It could be addresses. The 333 has been following me for a really long time. I have this whole log. It was, oh my God, back when Blackberries were cool. I have this whole log where at 3:33 a.m. and it was cool to have like a song be your text message theme song. So 3:33 a.m. like Alicia Keys was waking me up. And it said voicemail, like on the Blackberry, only there was no voicemail and there was no missed call and no nothing. And so 333 became a number that would follow me around, and I've since done a lot of research on that, and that's a whole other story. But messages everywhere, and I like following them, and I like listening to them. So I want to ask that question again with books, Love of Answers. How to be open to trusting again after pain. Oh, that's very interesting. Emphasis, participation. That's so fun. So that's like ask and then participate in the journey, like a scavenger hunt or something exciting like that. Or, so what else I'm getting is if it's trust and it has to do with other people, how are you participating or potentially not participating that would make there be a gap of trust? Participation equals answers. Answers book. We have it. Oh, you have this one? Or you have another one, Jennifer? Participation equals answers. I like that. What do you mean by that? Participation equals, I mean, I agree with you, but like if you want to elaborate for everybody, I feel like you have a key piece that you would like to share, and I'd love to have you share your beautiful voice on that one because you're such a badass about that. So, yeah, participation in trusting. I don't know. I feel like that feels complete. Oh, Magdalena. You're such an angel. We did have a lot of those. We need to do that again. Where are you? You're too far away. Okay. I don't want to make this video too long too, because it's fun, but I want to keep like the pace going too. So I think, do I feel complete with trust? Just for fun, because I mentioned it. This is such a gnarly book. This is such a rare book, and it's such a gnarly book. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, that's interesting. That page opened again. I opened like 2 different pages. This is such a crazy, I don't even know what this book is going to answer, but 2 pages opened up. I open up right to adult children of dysfunctional earthlings is the front line of Mission Control's Planet Renewal Project, and their support groups are the heavy artillery of human liberation. Like I said, really gnarly book, and I don't know if that has anything to do with trust. I Mobile astral surgical hospitals or MASH units are stationed throughout the planet as well as off planet. Their medical personnel are masters of interdimensional internal medicine. That's getting really deep and like it's just it's totally different. Something's like, no, don't read that. That's not necessary. If this necessary absence of details and specifics leaves you unsure whether you are a code talker or not, a clue may lie in your response to the manual. If it makes total sense to you and you tend to file it in your bookshelf somewhere between The Wonderful World of Mac Crane and Chilton's Complete Repair Guide of your car, it is very likely that you are a code talker here on special assignment. Everybody go get this book so you can be a code talker. Ancient code equals life. Dysfunctional earthlings means they must trust that those are different from us and very much alike. Yes, that's true. Girl, we need to have a conversation about this book. Because there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, it's a little deeper than what I'm going to go into on this video. But that can be a video for another time. Okay, so I think we're good on trust. So I have two more questions that came in. One, getting over an argument. So a lot of these I focus around relationships, just because that's, you know, my passion on what I love supporting other people with as well. And learning about myself. And I think that we have relationships with everything: money, spirit, ourselves, and our partners. So getting over an argument, somebody wrote, and how to grow past that. Are there any questions? Interdimensional internal medicine, huh? That actually sounds really interesting. I know. What if I do a tap in on just ET 101? If anybody wants me to do that, then put a bunch of likes or, I don't know, something, or write a message or whatever. And if anybody's interested in that, then I can do that, because I don't know if anybody has that book. I'd be happy to do it, but let me know. Okay, so getting over an argument and how to grow. AJ, Jennifer, definitely, and Adam, and okay, we can. Awesome. Okay, so getting over an argument and how to grow past that. What do I want to use? I always go back to Barbara. I really do, because she's amazing. And Earth and the Palladian Keys of the Living Library. If my brother Jamal is watching, we used to fall asleep at the same time with this book and see what our dreams would be. That was kind of a gnarly experience. So my brother Jamal, this one's for you. Getting over an argument and how to grow past it. Okay. Okay, that's not fair. That was the one that came up last time, and that's that was dog-eared. So I feel like that kind of fell open. So I'm gonna undog-ear that. That one had to do, in my first video, that had a lot to do with bringing in the feminine energy and using some other, whatever, watch video one. So argument and grow. There we go. Okay. If anybody has it, it's page 55. So how to get it over an argument and grow past it. Imagination is the most powerful force available to humankind. I love that. I think that's why I'm so obsessed with NLP, because it's all about using your subconscious and imagination and how to move through limiting beliefs and all that stuff. It's such a fun thing. Okay, so think about this. It actually says that. I didn't say that. Think about this. Earth is alive. And just to clarify again, this is get over an argument and grow past it. So think about this. Earth is alive and holds the knowledge you seek. And your consciousness affects what Earth reveals. How do you access this knowledge? Where are the keys to unlock it and make it yours? The information is stored in stone and bone. That's interesting. Times have changed. It used to be that each individual who involved and studied the mysteries had one teacher, and knowledge was passed down from teacher to apprentice in a long line of tradition. Today, it is no longer necessary because what you seek is being released from storage inside your body. Light openings and genetic mutations, for those of you who believe in that, anybody who's listening, just release any judgment that may come up too. I don't know, I just felt inclined to say that because, like take the overall, general kind of sense of what this is offering. So light openings and genetic mutations are being about unprecedented change within the human body. You become your own teacher by activating what is inside you through clear intent and by following the impulses and knowledge that accompany the process. Love that. I love that. I think majority of people are on that. The majority of people I know are on that tip. But how to overcome an argument and grow. Clear intent and following the impulses and the knowledge that accompany the process. What else do I want to say about that? We store so much we store it in our bodies. We store energy, we store emotions, and we store toxins, and we store all this stuff in our physical body, right? And some of you have heard me talk about this, but some of you that don't know me that well, I get into a little bit of the deeper work of what's called the biofield. And so you have these multiple layers of it's your aura, but you don't just have one aura, you have multiple layers of it, right? And so the same, if you're into the chakras, the same way that you have multiple layers of multiple chakras, you have 7 that go up as far as chakras go, and then you have 7 that go out into your, what's called a biofield. You have more than that, I know, for all of you that are saying that. Yes, you have more chakras up, and you definitely have more chakras within your biofield, but the primary 7, and then the 7 out. And so we we store information, we store feelings and upsets, and this is where our past patterns and programming from society and from our families and multiple different relationships and multiple different, unresolved hurt and pain from multiple different relationships. And so it's all stored in this energy body, and what affects the energy body then ultimately affects the physical body and vice versa. So whenever you don't feel well in your physical body, you can also, or feel well emotionally, you usually can find it in your energy field as well. So that's what comes up for me in this too, of like, whenever you get into an argument and you have that, like, your heart's racing, you feel like you want to throw up, and you just feel gross, and you're hurt, and you just have all of this upset in the physical body. The goal would be to almost like kind of clear out your energy body or notice where it is. Sometimes I do this technique where like I'll just sort of guide my hand like out, searching for something. Okay, this doesn't feel good. Like, where is it? Is it here? Is it further out? Is it here? Is it further out? And then I'll just find it. And then ultimately, like the same kind of things of like just giving it love at that point, or just asking for it to be cleared out. So going back to how the imagination, right? Imagination is the most powerful force to the humankind. Like, I think some people might think like, oh, well, that is just my imagination, or how am I actually doing it? Or is it even that I'm doing it if it's just in my imagination, right? And yet our subconscious mind, the secret to our subconscious mind is it doesn't know the difference between your imagination and what's reality. So yes, you can find it in your imagination, and yes, your imagination therefore creates. That's how you create, is through your imagination. So it is real, it is happening. It's just like emotions. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist too. So The inventory of what you're feeling and vibrating. Yes, exactly. Levels of ascension may also be accompanied by the electromagnetic. You were talking something about the EMF. Yeah, EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies that can affect EMF. That's a whole other thing that. Small plug. Sovereign Alliance. I make stuff that helps support with energy and electromagnetic frequencies. So your energy can be clear and be in a space that's not being bombarded by all this EMF. That's why I make the jewelry that I do, to just help support with opening and expanding our energy bodies. So slight plug for that. But so yeah, as far as getting over an argument and growing past that, see where it is. Imagine the outcome. Here's an NLP technique. Imagine an outcome. Go back to the scenario of whatever the person or whatever that time was that you feel like you lost the trust. And then go 5 minutes before that and change the scenario. Shift it into what you want. Create something out of your imagination. Imagine that you're at Disneyland or something and you're having an amazing time. And that usually puts your emotional body into a different state, and then starts retraining your subconscious mind into releasing the pain from that. So there's like a lot of other lists, or I don't want to say lists, there's a lot of other steps to doing that, on making sure that you got the lesson and having compassion and all that stuff. But that's a good kind of quick one. So if anybody has any questions on that, I'm definitely open to supporting and helping anybody move through any kind of pain or argumentative kind of anxiety or trust. Okay, so what do we got? How to move past ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends. And let me check here. Where am I at? Okay, cool. Checking my battery on my phone. How to move past ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends. It's like a loaded question. Is that all I want? Yeah. Okay. I talk to myself, in case you hadn't noticed. We all do. A whole dialogue going on. Yes, this one. How to move past ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends. So that's like a lot. So that says pain. That says maybe there's still some blame there. Maybe there's still holding on to whatever was being triggered. Whatever it is, I don't know. That's kind of like a loaded question. So I feel like this could probably relate to a lot of people. We've all been there. How do we get over at least one of those exes? Ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. So moving past ex-boyfriend. And I'm using, I don't know, it's just intuitively vibrational medicine. I did this one last time too for relationships, since everything's energy. Relationships definitely are. So moving past ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends. How to. Bam. Okay. Up until now, this combined medical and surgical armamentarian, don't know what that word is, has defined a state of art in treating heart disease. How to get past the ex that broke the heart? In addition to the treatments already mentioned, that we didn't read, there are various drugs which can be given to dilate arteries and increase coronary blood flow. I'm sorry, this is really funny. I don't know why. Other drugs can be prescribed which assist in strengthening weakened heart muscles or in preventing chaotic and life-threatening cardiac rhythms. Did you guys know, oh man, I can't remember where I read this. Like they talk about when people have a broken heart and like the pain of the broken heart, like the ache is actually like the ripping of, oh God, I'm gonna butcher this. I don't know. I don't remember if it was like, it wasn't one of the arteries, but it's literally like there's something in your heart that's breaking because you have so much emotional pain over that. Yes, Jennifer, do you remember? I don't always remember specifics. I'm a literal person, not a figurative, but I don't always remember specifics. So go figure. But in what they were saying is when people have heartache like that, like a broken heart, like they're so sad from a break or loss of any kind, they actually said to take an Advil, or excuse me, like a or like not Advil, like a painkiller. So you can help your heartache from a broken heart from your ex by taking aspirin. Yes, dying of a broken heart is real. Yes. It's really sad. And that's interesting. So, okay, so let's continue reading because this tells us a lot about like the physical pain of, so how to get over it. In my experience, the universe is very literal. Like I think the universe it will answer figuratively, but you have to ask a very literal question. So that's kind of funny. But let's see if it gives like a solution to this. Let's see, beyond that, conventional medicine has left little to offer. Great. What can the future bring? Okay, here we go. It is doubtful that the creation of new heart strengthening medicines will be the key in treating heart disease. Once the physical heart has degenerated in function beyond a certain point, there is little that can be done to strengthen it. I disagree with that. I think we're super powerful. I think energetically you can tap into anything and heal anything that you want. So that's just my personal disagreement with this particular sentence. So the phrase "you can beat a dying horse" has sometimes been used by cardiologists who feel they are beating their heads up against a wall and trying valiantly to improve the function of hopelessly failing heart. The only other alternative is heart transplantation, either artificial or from a human donor, neither of which are readily available in all medical centers. Okay, so I feel like, let's see, holistic physicians, alternative treatments, heart disease, blah, 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 blah. So it's definitely targeted the heart in getting past the X's. But I doubt anybody's going to get a heart transplant for that. Sorry, I love how some of these questions end up being answered. For me, that really just says love it more. You just gotta love it even harder. I remember a time of really, really getting my heart broken, and it was just like it took so much out of me to like flip it around and be like, I just have to give that love. I have to give myself love. I have to have compassion for myself, and I have to give even more love to them. So usually when fear comes up, like all we want to do is pull away. And that's the last thing. Usually when fear or anything like that comes up, you have to go into it and give more. And that's usually the way through it. So that's what came up for me. So I don't know. That was kind of a weird answer for this one. I'm going to try one more, and then I'm going to bounce out because I think, let me check, I have 7%, so we're going to make this happen. Horse water, but you can't make them drink. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's see, so getting over the X's. Give me a good one. Let's try this. Let's try some, that was very grounded. I thought that would be a little bit more out there. Let's try We the Arcturians. Yes, I have a very interesting array of books. So, how to get over the X's. This means that we are a planet of one. Duality is reserved for the Earth. We know only the one, and therefore we have no stress. The only stress we observe is that which we species puts themselves through when they constantly fight the forces. On our planet, we learn in our instruction, we learn in our instruction from our birth that we need not fight the force. We learn to flow with it, and in so doing, we learn to increase our lifespan and knowledge. Many souls on your planet are just beginning to catch on to this wisdom because of the exchange program we're conducting between some of the souls on Earth and Arcturus. This exchange program is to serve us both well, exchange, blah, 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 ideas, liquid light, blah, 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 a bunch of other stuff. We agree that our planet to use the powers of the mind to create and not to destroy, and this only concludes our physical manifestation, but also the life we support. Okay, so I think I got the answer in that first section, and to me that was about duality and stress, and it's all about separatism. So how to get over your ex is like remembering again that we're all one. We're all connected to the one. We're all connected to God or energy or whatever it is. And ultimately, if you're wanting to X somebody out and cast them away, you can love them from afar, but don't stop giving them love and looking at it as like, oh, they caused me pain or they caused me this, whatever. And how do I just get over it so I feel better about myself? We're all one. We're all about. That's a separation mindset as opposed to a connection mindset. And so bringing your conscious awareness back to what lessons did you learn, why did they show up, and how can you just then ultimately give more love to that. And that hurts when it's somebody who you feel like has really hurt you, absolutely. And on some level, conscious responsibility is what had you attract them into your life in order to learn whatever lesson. Sometimes, that sucks to hear too. But if you have a negative belief system about yourself or not having respect for yourself or whatever it is, and you're attracting somebody that treats you poorly or whatever, that was my lesson. Just being real and vulnerable, So yeah, I didn't X anybody out, but I said, hey, I feel disrespected, and I recognize that I've brought someone in that feels disrespecting to me because I haven't been respecting myself, and I take that lesson on, and now I'm not going to X you out. I'm just going to love you from afar. Like, you don't have to always keep people in your life, but recognizing how you're still one and the reasons why those people came into your life. That's ultimately, I think, the goal. So assholes can still be assholes, and it's your own perception about yourself and the whole situation makes you free, ultimately. So thank you guys for watching. I feel like I'm kind of rushed because I don't want my battery to die. But I love you guys so much, and thank you for watching. And I don't know, I kind of like these nighttime ones a little better, so instead of the noon. So we'll see how that goes. Sometimes I'm a little bit more busy at night, but I'm going to try my hardest to do one every single day because I really, it's fun for me. And if you guys are enjoying it, and then maybe we'll do the ET 101s, just reading from that. That could get very hilarious. So I love you guys so much. Again, if you have any questions, either write them in the comments. If you feel, like you want to write me privately, then I'll ask the questions on the next video. About relationships, life, whatever it is, business, whatever. Love you guys so much. Have an amazing night.